So this is your film, so you're doing the intro, I believe.
Oh, I get to do the intro?
You
did.
Me?
I mean, you kind of did the last one, but that was okay.
You're a real boy.
Did I?
Congratulations on your real intro.
Oh, it's my... Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, this movie sucked. How's that for an intro?
Oy.
Spice Cut.
Oy
That's
vey.
a little harsh. I mean, I don't disagree.
I was so excited for this movie. Right? And it's...
And then what happened?
But why were you excited?
Yeah.
Let's put that
We'll
out
get
there.
into that later. Hi. We are we Dude Soup?
Not quite. Not quite.
That was a dumb joke. Dudes watch a movie. What did we say? 47? 42?
All sorts of whiffs.
Yeah.
Way to go on your first intro.
Yeah. Just crushing it. Crushing it right now.
I got stage fright. 42. Bloodfest. A horror comedy. Which I didn't realize it was until after I watched it. When was it? Hit us with the deets.
Yes,
I have
my
none of
turn.
them.
I'll do it right
He's
this
just
time.
like drowning, like, save me, Frodo.
All right, yeah, so episode 42 Bloodfest, made in 2008, August 31st in the USA.
2008?
Yes. No, excuse me, 18.
I'm like, wait,
I
what?
forgot the teen on that.
That would be
18.
impressive if they sat on it that long.
We
That
made
was
it then and just
not
decided 10 years
2008.
later to put it out.
Yeah.
August 31st, 2018. Excuse my mishap. Plot. No, let's go over that plot real quick. This was a film by Rooster Teeth. For all those who don't know who that is, being on the internet and not knowing who that is, would you say no? Common knowledge is Rooster Teeth kind of a thing that no.
I mean, it
Did
depends
you guys
on
watch Red vs. Blue?
depends on what their interest is. Like,
Yeah. Do you like
I
video
think it'd be
games?
hard pressed not to know something about
yeah.
Or have heard of them?
Rooster Teeth.
At least if they're watching this kind of content, I would think they do.
Machinima,
Yeah.
internet,
Right.
anywhere, yeah.
But I
They gotta
wouldn't
know
I wouldn't say
something
if you
about
go up to a random person in the street and be like, yo, you know Red vs. Blue? I don't know you'll always get a yes. But if you go up to like a random person at GameStop or like Best Buy or someone our age and be like, yo, you know Red vs. Blue? Or
Ask a millennial.
yeah.
Anyone who plays Halo.
Yeah.
True. Anyway, let's take it back. We got a plot for this film. It is.
Plot
Have
is
fun
a
with the
strong
names.
word.
It's just a bad fans flock. I don't like the way that's next to each other. Just anyway,
It's alliteration.
fans flock to a festival.
Fans flock to a fantastic festival.
fun festival.
Fans flock to a fun-filled festival, celebrating the most iconic horror movies, only to discover that the cinematic showman behind the event has a diabolical agenda. As the festival attendees start dying off, 3 teenagers, 2 more schooled in...
Were they supposed to be teenagers? I had questions
They were
about
supposed to be, but they didn't really establish that
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, 3 teenagers more schooled in horror film cliches than practical knowledge about neutralizing psycho killers must band together and battle through various madmen and monstrosities to survive. Not a whole lot of stuff going in there as far as comedy-wise, which
Which is very
wouldn't surprise me why
disappointing.
you didn't think it was not a comedy. Yeah, I get it.
I don't know what I was expecting. Because
Have you seen
I didn't see it when it
previews
came
for
out.
anything?
I saw the trailer when they were making it, and I saw all the content that Rooster Teeth was pushing. Like, oh man, we had so much fun making it. It's so scary, blah, blah, blah. Never got around to it.
They never mentioned any comedy.
I just
yeah.
assumed, because it was a Rooster Teeth production,
Right.
I was going to like it, because I love their shorts. Laser Team looked amazing.
Haven't seen it.
Hadn't seen it. Looked funny. I love Barbara Dunkelman. I was going to make you guys watch some RT shorts before we watch the movie. Just because she's not good in this, but she's good in those.
That's
I don't know
fair.
if that's because that's a different environment, but I know she's better than this.
That's kind of like Funhouse's, what was it called, those shorts they were doing?
Arizona Circle.
Yeah. I really hope they bring that back.
Mm.
I feel like they might. Anyway, roll it back really quick. The box office deeds. Can you guys guess what this budget might be?
3.
There was a lot of stuff in there.
3.
No.
2 million.
3.
Very close. It's 1 million. 1,200,000.
You were closer than I was.
3, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dollars.
And the cast is a long list of folks who
Do you have like
I could go through it if I
what
wanted
they
to,
make?
but I honestly couldn't find anything on there. 'Cause
So
I don't know if
this is a did this go into theaters?
No, but it's about to be on TV.
That's what I thought. So if something doesn't go
I
into
know they
theaters,
had
a lot of websites
screenings.
are really like
Did this go to YouTube?
secretive about their.
I would assume so, because it's on there before it was on TV.
I know that Laser Team did.
I don't think this one did. I think it might have been a Rooster Teeth exclusive, like on their website maybe. Otherwise, we could have just, I guess, watched it with my premium account. But it's so anything streaming is gonna be tricky to find numbers on because they're always really secretive unless they're like YouTube, where it's like, here, look at how many hits this has. That's a big thing with Netflix is really iffy about, this many people have watched this many times.
Hey, thenumbers.com, apparently. Financial information. Let's see if there's anything on there. Box office, domestic box office, 0.
Yeah, because it wasn't in.
Right. But yeah, there's a domestic release August 14th before it came out on the 31st for special engagement by Phantom Events. August 31st by Cinedigum.
Cinedigum.
Yeah.
Didgeridoo.
Yeah,
Sure.
There's really no numbers on that. So yeah, like you said.
What did you think of it?
It was all right.
I believe your quote was, if the dad ends up being the bad guy,
Throwing it in the trash.
This in the trash, and I'll repay you your money.
So
I couldn't help but laugh at that.
Sure
Cause,
enough.
So here's the deal. I think context is important. To judge this movie the same way we judged large-scale productions that were in theaters is unfair.
Mm-hmm.
If you judge this against other online, like, media, it's pretty good.
Yes.
Right.
And that's something I was going to bring up. It does feel very much like we somehow got a budget, and now we're going to make a movie of our style.
Yep.
But this isn't Rooster Teeth style.
Right. Something was a little off about it.
I think I know why.
Yeah.
Granted, I know you didn't see Tell. You purchased Tell.
Yeah.
How was it overall for what kind of film it was?
Not as good as this one. But
it's been a while, so I couldn't really judge it. But
it's a much
Tell.
lower budget. It's from, are you familiar with Film Riot?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a short that he made in like 2009 or 10.
It's
like 20 minutes.
Was that the one where the guy accidentally kills someone?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I used to love Film Riot, right? I'm not into filming stuff, but I loved watching them.
Yep.
Right up till that came out, and then I stopped watching them. So I never actually got to see.
I have a signed script if you'd like to read it.
Oh, fine.
But again, that's kind of the next step below this, though. That's
Right.
like very independent, very low budget, just trying to make the best you can, and then you go to this step, and then you go obviously up. But you were about to say what you think is the issue, why it doesn't feel like Rooster Teeth.
So in the DVD commentary, the director Owen Egerton played Walsh, who's the guy in purple suit.
Yes.
Who was causing all of it. They were talking about how, wow, you wrote the script really fast. It took you like 2 weeks. And he was talking about how there was a supposed writer's strike that might happen. So he rushed it out and to get it into the works. So if the strike happened, he wouldn't be blacklisted from working on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So it's very rushed, one pass, very thin characters. They rely heavily on, hey, Leatherface. Hey, Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Evil Dead. Jason.
It's a very referencey movie.
Mhm.
Which
Like
does
how
kind
you
of make
said,
sense, though. It's the internet culture.
Yeah, but that doesn't excuse you.
Right.
Like how I said with Bandersnatch, just because you call out the bull crap doesn't excuse you from pulling that same crap.
Correct.
True.
Or Daredevil, you didn't like how they referenced the creators or the cameos or whatnot.
Oh, yeah. It takes you out of the world.
That really pulled me on this one.
Yep.
Because I'd rather be watching Leatherface.
You know what really bothered me about that, too, though, is so they make reference to, it does take place in our world, because they make reference to, like, Leatherface and Alien. Zachary Levi's in there, and they talk about him playing the dude from Tangled.
Yes.
But then at this Blood Fest, all the movies they're referencing are fake movies, which is strange to me. It's like a weird juxtaposition of this takes place in this real world, but we can't really reference those directly here. Like they have the knockoff versions of them. They got a knockoff Saw. They've got knockoff It. They've got a whole bunch of knockoffs. But anytime it's a reference, like verbal reference, it's always to some sort of real movie, which it was weird to me.
If you didn't get the references, so like in the clown killing, when they were tearing at him, that's a reference to Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead.
I know Shaun of the Dead did it.
And that's what the reference is.
Right.
When they're all swarming, grabbing
the
at
other one.
his
Pulling out
at his
the innards.
intestines. Like, okay, I know what that's from.
Yep.
I'm not giving you points for copying that. But
It's a tricky thing because you can tell this guy really likes horror movies, but he legitimately comes out on stage at the beginning and says, "This is the problem with horror movies." But he doesn't do anything new with it.
Right.
He like just references horror movies. So it's just odd. And that now knowing that it was a 2-week script makes sense. It's just there was a lot of moments where it seemed like he was talking too much of his thoughts through the character directly at us, like on what he thinks horror movies should be. And all I was sitting was like, yeah, but you're not doing
anything new with it.
Yeah, no, you're saying here's the problem, but you're not providing answers.
It feels a little pretentious, especially when he's like, "You want to make a real scary movie?"
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do it though.
And that's hard to decide for me if that is him being tongue-in-cheek or if that is him saying, this is the movie we're making, so strap yourself in.
I think they tried to be tongue-in-cheek. This reminds me a lot of Cabin in the Woods.
I feel like that plot got really lost in there, though. The fact that he's making a horror movie because everything else is going on.
I never let it go because he kept talking to the editor, who was able to take all these different camera angles in real time and edit these things, and then he killed him. And I bet you they don't even know how to export.
that was your line.
But they want to be tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah,
but
I feel like the film
mark.
is basically just for people who love horror movies. Be like, hey, and then move on.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the next
Did you get the
one.
reference? Did you get the reference? Okay, next reference.
I do feel less mad about it, though, knowing that it was basically a 2-week thing to avoid writer's strike, because it really does explain a lot about
what
it.
exactly would you say is a writer's strike? Is that like when
The Writers Guild is like, yo, we're not doing it
like
until we
anymore?
get better pay, better whatever they want to do it for.
Okay.
It's basically a union. It says we're done.
So the writer's strike happened once, and that made me hate the show Arrow.
Yeah.
Because the writing just completely changed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, this is bad now.
Because
So
you
it
can't get it wouldn't be SAG, but the equivalent of that of writers.
Yeah.
You can't get any unionized like writers to do it, so you have to get outside like amateur sources, and that's where
for things to go through, it has to get pushed to the Writers Guild, and then
Yep.
I think that's what I'm assuming.
in order
that
to
if
get
it
a
got
credit
through
basically.
first,
Yeah.
and then it'd be kind of grandfathered in. Did we do the tagline?
No, we didn't.
No, I kept wanting to go back to it, but we kept getting
Yeah.
on and stuff.
So my tagline would be Bloodfest references.
That is good. That's
Give you
solid.
the actual tagline is love horror movies, try surviving one.
Yeah.
I wanted to put a cricket noise, but I can't do one. You know.
Yeah.
What was-
I almost riveted it.
It's just gonna blow in the mic going here.
Mine was just now's not the time.
Yep.
Now's not the time.
That's the one I was
Not the
totally
time.
agreeing
Guy
with.
just said it too many times throughout the movie that it has to be the one.
I'll go with, hey, you saw that?
I know that movie. I'd rather be watching that.
So, basically, my first thing is similar to how I felt when I was watching the Fantastic Four from a couple years ago. I just felt like I was getting punched in the face by cliches in the opening. So I started
I want that animation right now.
keeping track of them. So throughout the movie, just ones that I remembered to write down was killer appears behind a crouching person, killer appears behind the door. Protagonist is a horror buff, which is always irritating to me.
To be fair, 2011, when we were doing our films, we did that.
True, and that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying it's
You
not-
guys were
yeah.
amateurs. This was a professional job.
I suppose, yeah.
A professional amateur, I guess. I mean,
He's done other stuff though.
has he? Yeah. Well, that makes me feel better about myself, I guess. And I will get back to that. But the protagonist is a horror buff. The don't meet your hero cliche because he meets the guy who also fills out the actor who hates his famous role cliche. And then the one that fucking irritated me. Character claims something ridiculous won't happen. And then it
And
happens.
then immediately happens.
Bonus points for acknowledging a cliche. Because they're like, oh, this
Yeah.
is where it should happen.
Grabs by the nuts.
I was okay, though, because I didn't like that guy. He was a good actor because I hated him. And I was supposed to hate him. Little
True.
Vape
Benjamin Kane.
God. You are definitely more familiar with the Rooster Teeth end of things. We're definitely more Funhouse people. So how many of the people in this movie that had like legit roles were Rooster Teeth employees?
Define a legitimate role.
Not just like a quick cameo, but like on screen and at least more than 1 or 2 shots.
2.
Like I would consider Blaine as one of those because
Fuck Blaine.
He was there. It's just rude. He seems like a nice guy.
I hate Blaine.
Seems like such.
I
a
have
nice
an
guy.
irrational hatred of that man.
That
for
I can
no
understand.
Reason.
Yeah, I've got those.
Well, okay, so Blaine had more than one line, so if you want to count him,
Yep.
Barb had
She was one of the stars.
basically.
Yeah.
Adam Ellis was the arbiter.
And I don't know.
The arborist.
don't
He was
know.
the killer.
Okay. What's
I think
his
he's like
relationship?
an editor or something.
Is he on screen on Rooster Teeth?
On a couple of things, yeah.
Is he just like straight Rooster Teeth, or is he like Achievement Hunter or Cow Chop or whatever those are? Or if you don't know, that's fine too.
Achievement Hunter. I haven't seen him for a while.
Okay.
He might not still be with the company. I don't know. I kind of go in and out of watching content. I'm now back into watching it, so haven't seen him for a while. Those 3, I think Gus appears for 1 cameo. Did I mention Gavin? The cameos were the
Gavin was
worst
in there?
part.
Where was Gavin?
He got chopped in half.
Oh,
But,
well,
It's
see,
all-
see,
it's
those are
all
what I'm
fake,
not counting.
boys.
I'm
It's
not
all
counting
fake.
those ones.
He got
'cause that's
chopped
just
in
like
half
that's a
in
cameo.
slow mo, though.
Oh,
Which, fun fact,
I
he
missed
shot that.
that makes sense. I'm
Did he shoot it on a Phantom?
Yeah. I hated that.
not sure how you missed that. Was that another one of those ones that pulled you out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Any of the cameos. Because I'm like, oh, cool, Gavin. Okay, Gavin died. Oh, cool, Jeff. I like Jeff. And Jeff's dead.
I spotted Jeff. I remember that one.
Elise William, Gavin Freeze.
I kept
Ramsey.
my peepers peeled for like Adam or Bruce, and it never came.
Cameos
I'm surprised
were the worst part of
Lawrence
this
wasn't
movie,
in
honestly.
there. That would have been
Yeah.
something of.
Yeah.
You know,
I was really hoping to see, like, the employees actually acting.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think that might have been what could have saved this movie, because I mean they got their people in there for cameos for a little like, hey, fan service, yay, but not like the hey, fan service, yay. But I think the charm would have worked more if it would have felt more like a Rooster Teeth production, kind of like Laser Team, where like the main people in that aren't they generally
That
the people
has,
there?
Bernie, Gavin, and Michael Jones are the 3 of the main guys.
Yeah.
And then other guy whose name I don't know. I think he may have joined Rooster Teeth afterwards, though.
Point being is it like I
It
feel
had
like
more of their feel to it.
right they
Their
would have been more
comedy.
control and
But then they also wrote that, I think.
that makes sense.
That was all
Yeah.
in-house, and then they got picked up. This was a out-of-house production that they picked up the script for, and then went
Gotcha.
in.
Bernie was in there. Bernie Burns, one of the co-founders of Rooster Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Way
I
back in the
wonder.
day.
So they reference Hell's Nest as a fake movie. I wonder if that's a stab at Hell Fest, which is the exact same movie as this. They just went to production at the same time.
Yep.
By accident.
And I assume that's the higher budget version.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that now.
Kind of compare it.
Yeah,
Think
but
if it's bad enough, would you look at this one more favorably?
no, because I had expectations.
That's true.
For this. That Hellfest just looks like another. We're gonna slap it together,
Yeah.
and make our budget back because why not?
And that's the trick with most horror movies.
I mean,
Yeah.
you may be happy to know that I believe it got a slight. Oh, no, never mind. Hellfest got a slightly better score.
I'm sure I wouldn't actually like that movie. I guess I was just expecting the plot of that movie, Hellfest, to be more like this, where there's a serial killer going around and killing under the guise of it's all part of the show.
Yep.
Whereas in this, they just instantly say, nope, we're actually going to murder you, and then start. This movie does something that really pisses me off. They had that establishing shot where, first off, they go in, it's daylight. Instantly, it's dark. Just, okay. They spent 5 hours waiting in line, I guess. But then they had the establishing shot where it shows thousands of people. Right? Just a huge crowd, just a huge assortment. You never see any of them die after the killing starts.
Yeah.
You just see the main cast of characters. Like, why even bother showing me these other characters?
Because they're not important, but at
They give you the
same time-
illusion there's a large crowd, everyone's dying, but you never actually get to see it.
Right. You get
I
to see your
hate that.
cameos die, though.
Yeah. And
That is the worst part of this movie.
I would assume it's a mixture of budgetary reasons and then just
Probably.
logistical, like.
But
And
then-
maybe
but then
they
don't write
insinuate
it
that
in.
they all died at that
You
like
got $1
beginning
million.
bloodbath
You
or
can only
something.
do so much blood in there.
But
you
don't
know?
Yeah.
write it in. Okay, Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End. pissed me off because they had the establishing shot. They show like, oh, look, there's all these pirate ships. They have like 6 or 7. And then the fog clears on the horizon. Nothing but ships. Hundreds and hundreds of ships. Only 2 ships ever fight in that final battle. No one else does anything. Why bother showing me?
To be implied.
It'd be like Helm's
I
Deep.
hate that.
It's just Helm's Deep, but then
the
only like 3 of the orcs actually
Yeah.
go in.
Yeah. Why? I get it. It's a budget reason,
Yeah.
but don't write that into the script then.
That
If
makes
you
sense.
can't do it, don't write it.
Yeah, I guess I'd be pretty upset if like I was gearing
So
up for like
steamed.
Royal Rumble season and then only 2 people enter. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're watching the Royal Rumble, everyone jumps in, and then
got yours
immediately
in.
everyone's out. And you only
It
have
was a
2.
bit of a stretch, but I squeaked it in there. That's understanding or understandable.
God, that upsets me more than it should.
I think one of the most frustrating parts of that and this movie in general is it like it's like looking into a mirror at my problems making things, because I would also be like, yeah, and then we'll set up something here and there, and it'll help give like some feel to what's going on here, but then I would just completely drop it and forget to come back to it. Like I'd be like, yeah, and there'll be like hundreds of that, like it's the biggest thing, and we gotta show it, but then never mention
I
it again
miss
later.
making films.
Yeah,
But
well, this
once
is
you
why I
see
don't
the
do
budget-
it.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is exactly why I don't do it, because I see the issues afterwards. I'm like, fuck, shit.
But I mean, that's not. But for the everyday viewer like myself, you don't really notice them sometimes. For the more in-depth as you two, I mean, I get it. But at the same time, you have to take into consideration the budget, who's making it, do they have the capabilities of making it better. I feel like with $1 million, there's only so much you can do. Blood, or I guess Hellfest, on the other hand, they had a $5 million budget, so they probably
5
should have
times
done
the money.
better. But they had almost the same exact score as Bloodfest, made by a significantly smaller company. No offense, but like they're just doing just as well with what they have, and I get it as a writing standpoint that maybe some things could have been cut, but maybe
It's less
writer's
that they
strike,
could
2
have been
weeks.
cut too, also, but like it was too convenient too. Like I don't know. That's why I understood that it was gonna be the dad. Like
The second they say he's not here, and then when it pops to him, like, oh, I gotta go, he's the bad guy.
well, it's not even that. It was pretty fucking early. So he's real adamant about him not going to it, which I was like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. But they lingered on it too much, and then when they reveal, I think they called him Red, right? The killer.
Yeah.
Did anyone
That's
else
what it
notice
was too much.
instantly that was a female, a feminine figure?
That I didn't know.
The way she walked, I'm like, okay, that's a female, definitely.
The way she flipped off the stage.
Flipped.
The way she was a
running,
mall ninja.
Skinny legs.
I just
didn't
figured
realize it
they're
was
very
Jamie.
athletic,
No.
like a parkour person is.
But
She's also wearing a skirt. Has like a little like skirt like
I
thing.
thought it was
Yeah.
just kind of like a sweatshirt tied around.
Yeah, I
or
was
like
thinking the
those
same thing.
runner pants where they have like the really baggy
Yeah.
dick
because she's a
area.
parkour. You know?
I'll be honest, I forgot she was a character
Yeah.
until she took the mask off.
But that was the moment where I was like, okay, because it would be way too much of a coincidence for the killer to be almost exactly the same as the killer of the mom.
I
like
was
the
kind of
same look.
hoping you could tie that into it. You could say, have some line about, oh, Jamie, you didn't see the killer, I did. But no, she did see it, and she is traumatized by it. That's why she's dressing up as the red-faced killer. Also, Red was useless.
Yeah.
She
Split
killed
two
two
people
people
and-
and no one else.
And she had such a superb control over her like ninja scorpion weapon thing, and it's like, where do you? I've got
She was
questions.
training.
I got questions.
One word to describe this movie. Go. We'll come back to you. Go.
Meh.
Meh?
Yeah. Not the best. The best thing about this movie is it gets going real quick. It doesn't spend a lot of time like making you wait for things to happen. Because in reality, if we had seen this movie when we were 13, probably would have been fucking sick, dude. Like
Oh, yeah.
all the blood and the gore and like the creative kills and things like that would have been awesome. Unfortunately,
We're old,
especially.
cranky.
We're all jaded. And
Yeah, we've
old.
seen it all before, and we get the references. Like, I feel like the generation below us probably really likes this movie because they didn't grow up with Scream or Cabin in the Woods or any of those other movies that plays off tropes and also references and things like that.
Would you feel, though, that a lot of those are missed then on them?
Not necessarily.
I think they know of them.
By the way,
just
my
not know
word for this
exactly.
movie is A.
A?
Hey.
Oh, like,
Hey, I know that guy.
I would say telegraphed because
Yeah.
everything is telegraphed.
I think this would be so. What I used to like about movies when I was the age that I think this was potentially aimed at, which is not. It gets into a weird thing about R-rated movies kind of being aimed at younger people sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they even talk at the beginning, you're not supposed to be watching this. I think.
That movie was White Zombie. They were watching, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Little.
Not the band. Not the band.
Okay.
The actual movie. Close though. Close.
Movies like Cabin in the Woods and Scream, like when I was younger, it's like, oh man, and then you start learning the references, and that's when you start like finding these other movies and things like that. So I think it can serve a nice purpose to like put those Easter eggs in there for people who don't know them. Just because they don't catch on to them doesn't mean they won't learn them, which can then like make more horror fans.
Maybe you've just seen too many horror movies.
I think that's honestly my problem because I don't like horror anymore. I feel like the director at the beginning, horror sucks, right? And I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right.
Damn it.
I get like one a year that I like, maybe.
Well, I mean, that's why we're tapping into the foreign market every so often.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not something you've
And you know
already
what?
seen.
It's starting to dry up because I've been watching like Asian horror for almost 10 years now, and I'm just like, I start getting movies where I'm just like, yeah, I seen that. Okay. I like look up a list like best foreign horror movies. I'm like, oh, seen that one, seen that one, seen that one. Fuck. But every now and then, something comes along, and you must whip it.
You must whip it.
Can we go around real quick and maybe talk to what favorite horrors are, or even necessarily themes of horror or monsters and horror type deal?
Yes. Psychological horror. It's the horror you don't really expect. The horror in one's own mind, or whatever the case may be, is the stuff that I kind of like. I myself was trying to write a movie until I learned that it was every single trope imaginable put into one.
Would you say you enjoy Lovecraftian horror?
It's been your shtick recently.
It's been just a stick in my ass. I'm so fed up with it.
It's a
I don't know why
Souls-like Lovecraftian game. Long story short, we've been watching a lot of game reviews, and this one guy calls everything that is just a fighter game Souls-like. If
it's difficult.
If it's difficult and makes you need to dodge.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Get good, scrub.
And
yeah,
everything horror related, like for the last 3-4 years, is like a Lovecraftian style horror. And I'm like, I fucking get it. He was scary, I guess. Not everything has to be Lovecraftian.
He was also a huge racist.
Nice. Just like that, honestly, one of my scariest things. Racism. Terrifying.
Anyway, like I said, I was
are
writing
those games also 8-bit pixel?
Sometimes,
retro,
yes. Sometimes.
Lovecraftian horrors?
Not always, but sometimes.
Souls-like?
retro.
Yeah.
Just
No saving?
why do they keep going backwards? I was writing a movie, but obviously never came to fruition, because then as I was taking a class, I realized the movie I was writing was hitting every single thing you're not supposed to do.
Yep.
I wanted it to start
waking up
to with an alarm. Can't do that. I wanted to end at a possible death. You can't do that, because if you get it's just all the stuff that makes it tacky. And I was like, damn it. And the thing is I didn't know that, and I was just doing this off, I think this is really good. Yeah. And then I realized it's not. It's just not going to be good. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing then? You know?
You want to know something awful about that? I knew about that a long time ago.
No, I know.
I was just like, when we
That's
first
why I kind of was hoping for some brainstorming.
when we first started it, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then like I started thinking about it more, and it's like, oh no, because I started thinking about when I was going through, and it's like, oh no. I was like, maybe. Nope.
That's why.
At least you caught yourself.
That's the key, and these people did not.
You're learning.
What's your go-to, like if you want to actually be afraid of something, like what are you looking at?
I've been trying to get into horror. Like, I want to get into it. I just can't. Because I just don't care. I want to read Lovecraft because I hear it's supposed to be scary. It's just a bunch of wordy bullshit. Right?
I'm listening to the audiobook for Call of Cthulhu, and boy howdy, it is wordy as hell.
Yeah.
Makes me feel real dumb.
Maybe it's because it was written in a different time.
Right?
Yep.
Most likely.
That's why I never got through Frankenstein.
Honestly, I watched The Descent, and for a brief period, I got real triggered for my claustrophobia. I was like, no, I don't feel good.
Y'all seen As Above,
Feel
So Below?
icky. I want to watch it. I watched your
good.
review about it.
You should watch it.
Spoiled it for
It's a
myself,
legit
but-
one. I've
Yeah.
watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And it's like my,
I should
that's
watch
it,
that.
definitely. I don't know my top 5 order, but it's in it for sure. And I hate found footage movies.
Ghost Stories was okay until the end.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
the
really
issue with
took
a
me
lot
out
of horror
of it.
movies, isn't it?
Ghost
Yeah.
Stories?
Yeah, it's got Lord of the Rings guy. No, Hobbit guy.
Bilbo, right?
Yeah.
Martin Sheen?
Martin Freeman.
Freeman. Yeah.
Martin Sheen. I
That's the
always do that
Underworld
with
guy.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm straight aliens. Like,
Mm,
I like every now and then we'll get movies like As Above, So Below where they mix enough things where like the setting's scary and demons I don't believe in, but in that world, like in that universe, they're shown to be real and
it
that's
was
scary.
Pretty spoopy.
But if I had to think like in real life, what I don't want to see, it's fucking aliens. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Do you mean the Lovecraftian horror of the cosmic, the bleak
Cosmic
nothingness
beings.
that you will face when you go into space?
I was thinking more like a xenomorph or something, just ripping my face off.
ultimate
So
predator
rape,
hunter.
rape, you
Rape
don't
is,
like being
rape is
raped.
terrifying. I mean, if we want to get into like scary subjects, we got racism and rape and
We're gonna
murder
have
and death.
The human
and kill.
condition.
Yeah. That's honestly, serial killers is another one where like I don't like the idea of like real life people just like I'm just gonna murder people, you know.
That's why you gotta
so-
carry a gun with
So
you.
Tom made fun of me for this, and because I just had just a thought pop into my head one time, and it's, have you ever thought about the chances that you survived the night because you locked your door? Like there was just a crazy person that was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna kill somebody," and they went and tried your door, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he's not dying tonight."
I lock my doors every night, and my windows, and my bedroom door.
This is in my hypothetical thought. This was also in like a larger city, not necessarily where we're at, but it's just
Yeah.
like what would it feel like to be the person that locked their door and then your neighbor didn't, and they're the one that got?
Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?
You wouldn't steal a car, would you?
You want to hear a story?
That's a different one.
You want to hear a story?
Oh boy.
This is why I always lock my doors.
Oh,
Yeah.
please continue.
Okay, so living back home when I was younger, right? I get told the next day that some random drunk guy just came into the house and went down to the basement and woke my brother up. He was like, "Hey man, can I get a ride? Can I get a ride, man?" He's like, "Fucking no, go away, Steve. My name's not Steve." He's like, "Oh, go away." I'm like, and we're locking the doors now, right?
Forever.
We're not going to leave them unlocked, yeah? They're locked,
Yikes.
yeah?
Yeah.
We don't even live near a bar. Just some random drunk came into the house one night.
Mm-hmm.
We could have all been murdered.
Yep.
Oof.
I could have woke up a single child and an orphan.
You could have been Batman.
Could have been Batman.
Much different.
Dang it, Steve.
Different psychological.
Oh man, I think we got off track, but that's a terrifying story.
Yeah.
Scarier than this movie.
I'll say something that I kind of liked. The movie starts. They have all these crappy props that were bought straight from a Halloween store.
Yep.
I started to hate that until I realized, oh right, everything in the park is fake, so they wouldn't have real ones. That kind of works. And then the guy immediately bricks a tombstone like it's all fake.
Too much of the wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, too much of the trying to be cheeky, and it's like, no, you've gone too far. You're
Have
not.
we jumped the shark in that sense with that kind of humor? Like, do you think like that's been almost feels like since YouTube launched the last 10 years or so, like that's been the go-to horror, like, or not horror, the go-to comedy is like, haha, get it?
Hey guys, I was playing Overwatch and I hacked the game system and got total kills, 3 new subscribers, none of them relatives.
Nice.
That's what I feel like.
Watched a video about sincerity in media and how we're lacking it, and it's all cynicism now. And I like that. I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, and I think that is the precipice that we've come to, is where everything is so cynical that you can only be so cynical for so long, that I need some sincerity from these movies. And I feel like that's another way that this could have been salvaged if this had been done as, because he's clearly a horror fan, the guy that wrote it. But if he had just embraced his fandom and not been like the get it because it's what happens, these are cliches. Like if he had just dove full on into it without winking at us, I probably would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
I think I'm over the cynicism.
I don't get horror comedy. Name one good horror comedy movie.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Boom.
Okay, that one, great movie.
Yeah.
You got me right there. I forgot about that. That movie does it well.
And the only reason I
that,
remember
Cabin
that
in the
is that's
Woods.
under
Cabin in the
here.
Woods. I think
those are well written.
it's probably one of the trickiest ones to balance.
Yeah.
Because
If he had
it's
just
two
done
polar
comedy.
opposites, you know?
Shaun of the Dead wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that I take more as comedy
Yep.
with a horror veneer.
Army of
Yeah.
Darkness was listed as a horror comedy, but
Definitely,
At that
again,
point,
still a
that's more-
comedy.
that's
for
more
its
of
time,
comedy and
though.
parody.
I feel like it's more
Yeah.
for its time.
And I think that might be the majority of the time is where it works, is where it's a comedy with horror elements to it.
Beetlejuice is the same way.
Not a horror movie trying to be funny.
Right. And that is why I don't like Scream.
Hmm.
Because it's a horror movie that's trying to be funny and also trying to point out the tropes while also doing tropes. Can we talk about this real quick?
No.
So one of the big tropes that I take issue with in movies, especially horror, because it seems to happen in horror more than anything else, is the main character that knows everything about the media is now in that situation, and they know all the rules and they know what they're supposed to do, yet they continue to break them. They are in the school and they're excuse me. I was real close to just throwing up my mouth. So they're in the school and they're like, I'd rather be under than Horror Fest or Blood Fest than in it, right? And not one of these fucks goes, one of the rules is don't go into the basement. And then what happens? They go in the basement, things get fucking worse. The Virgin survives. What does Spider-Man's friend do, whose name I can't remember in this movie? He's got a weird name. Krill. What does Krill do? He goes and gets fucking laid and then dies.
Because he's not as hardcore of a horror fan, so maybe he doesn't
I think he
know
is.
that
He's
trope.
super excited about everything there but the clowns.
So Dax, Sam, who I really hated that they had that conversation in the video store of don't let your dad do this and that, man up, and then she kind of looks at him for a second too long and
nut
then
up.
back. I'm like, okay,
Nut up.
she
was
wants to fuck
exactly
him.
the quote, yeah.
Like they
That was
they got a
another
thing.
Another big.
I can call it right now, and then disappeared until he was like, yeah, and then longingly looks at her, and then looks back, and then he just awkwardly
Looks at her like his young
on the
self looks
shoulder.
at his mom.
That was another one of those big indicators that dad was going to be the bad guy, because the whole thing was like, you can't be afraid of your dad. And I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to be afraid of his dad.
Okay, so they said that, but I didn't get that he was. Maybe I just missed it.
In the video store?
Yeah.
He's not standing up to his dad, ripping up the tickets and things like that. And that's another one of those things where I was confused about the age group. I was like, what are they, like 15? It makes sense if you're afraid of your dad when you're 15 and you're like, oh, he said I can't go, so I can't go. But like he's got
But they
stubble
can
on his-
drive.
Yeah.
He's working at a video store.
And you would think to get into Bloodfest, you'd have to be 18 or older, right?
Yeah.
Because it's basically an R-rated gore fest of a Disneyland.
Plus to be out on your own at what essentially is a hard rock concert.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That was one
I thought
of
it
the
was
questions
about
I
to
had.
turn to an EDM concert for a second there.
Dude, if Baby Metal came out, I swear to God, 10 out of 10. The
The soundtrack is awful.
How did they get Smash Mouth?
Smash Mouth was in this?
Oh, yeah. When they go to Blaine and the Vampires, they briefly play an All-Star.
That's probably where all their budget went.
Yeah, half of it at
Yeah.
least.
Had to play the meme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real quick, So when they were promoting this movie, they brought Krill, Jacob, whatever his name is from Spider-Man.
Yep. Love
Jacob
him.
Bolton.
Jacob Bolton, yeah. They brought him
But
into like Achievement Hunter and on podcasts. He was hanging out. I fucking hated that guy.
What?
His style, his delivery, I hate it. It's the
And-
exact same as he does in the movie.
In real life, you hate him?
The
Or
actor, I did not like.
Okay.
At least the promotional material I saw, did not like. First couple lines in this movie, like, okay, I might be able to like him, right? The Overwatch and the new subscriber stuff. Okay, he's the hacker gamer, whatever. She's the one. She's the one I will lay with tonight.
Is that where you lost it?
No, that was where I'm like, yep, I'm in, man.
Gotcha.
Fat man swagger. Let's go, brother. I'm pulling for you.
His body ain't the only thick thing he got.
And then the second she walks up, I'm like, oh no, she's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one. That's her. Everyone, do you see her?
Everyone's
Do you
the
see
one,
her?
yeah.
Look at her. Look at her. And,
Yep.
Okay, yeah, we get it.
I did have an issue with that too.
I mean, there were a few good lines I liked from him, but the overall,
His character too, like, doesn't make sense. Like, I get that he's horny, and he literally does say, "I just came here to get laid," but he makes that confession with Barbara, like, about how he likes her and he'd watch her in anything and this and that. And I'm just
He
like,
just keeps jumping.
yeah, that's all he's doing.
But to three of
But
them,
he's supposed to be the heart somehow.
Dax, Sam, Krill, they're all going to the horror festival. So you would assume,
Ashley.
she was just topless girl number 4. Which screw this movie for making me now wish I could see topless girl number 4, Barbara Dunkelman. I don't need that in my head. Those 3, they're supposed to be horror buffs. And then, they don't follow the horror rules. They even establish follow the rules, and then they break the rules.
Because he was under that vampire spell. It just lingered with him throughout the rest of the film.
But the other ones
He
were
was
all
an idiot.
the other ones
He
were all
was an
fine.
idiot before that. He stops for no reason because he hears a noise. And then Dax and
I mean, in the moment, though, are you
Hinkleton,
going to remember?
whatever the douchebag actor's name was, they stop for no reason. Then they get separated. Why are you stopping in the woods? You know this is a horror movie.
Why are you separating?
Why are you going through the graveyard? You know it's a horror movie.
That one I'll give him because they have to progress through to get where they're going.
He did say it was a
And
short route.
they say they want to turn around and go a different route because the graveyard's dangerous, and that's when they get into fucking. It's not dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what I would do. I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna make these characters relatable because it's what happens when you write yourself as your character, right? Like he clearly the main character in this movie is just an avatar for the guy that wrote it. And that's why he knows all this stuff about it. That's why he makes these quips. But he also let that spill into some of the other characters because he wants to bounce his own thoughts from different people's perspective or something or other. And it, like, I don't know, it was irritating to me. Yeah. What you got?
I mean, I agree with most all of that. Honestly, from a standpoint of not as hierarchy of film knowledge as the two of you,
First off, Mister, I am clearly an everyman. I am not some highbrow intellectual.
You've got a little bit more knowledge than I anticipated, which that's
because I watch reviews.
I
That's
don't.
all I do.
That's my problem.
That's
Going
another
into
thing
it-
that's killing with cynicism, all these reviews. And I feel bad because we're shitting on this movie, even though it's not as bad as we're making it out to appear, I think.
It could have been a lot worse.
At the end, we got to say some good things.
Yes. Overall, though, I enjoyed the film for what it was. Like I said, for me, it was a lot of, hey, because I was like, hey, I have seen that movie. I've paid attention to that movie to know that reference was referencing. And, I mean, the characters themselves, granted, yes, they didn't follow their every move, but I feel like to be in those characters' shoes at that point in time, are you going to remember every single thing happening in amidst a chaotic environment?
In reality, no. But in proper writing, yes. And that's
Right.
another thing they talk about. They're like, if life was movies, no one would watch movies.
2 weeks.
That's true.
That was the trailer lines. Right when they leave the video store, it cuts right to a trailer shot of, and here's the car moving. What's with all these rules in movies? Like, that's a trailer line. I can't not see that.
Yep. Also, what video store is existing right now?
Those are VHSs too.
Yeah.
And there's still record stores out there, so there's got to be some video stores out there.
So here's the difference. Vinyl have really good sound quality. VHS and DVDs do not have better video quality than 4K.
Your grandma probably still has a tube TV, right?
No.
Oh, never mind.
And she's like 80 something.
We're past that point now, aren't we?
She's got a flat screen because it's 2019.
And they're way cheaper.
Yeah,
Came
for
out
real.
in 2018. Maybe there's a difference. I don't know.
I think we should have listened to Jamie in the kitchen when she says Bloodfest. It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Looking back, we should have listened. I don't mean to be so cynical about it.
You definitely had higher hope or higher expectations
even-
than we did.
Not even higher, just because I knew Rooster Teeth and I know that they're better than this. I know that they can write something that's funny. And if it had just been their guys, their script, I would have loved it. I mean, as opposed to an actual AAA movie, would have been garbage. But do you guys, neither of you probably watch Matt Best or Ranger Up?
If Matt Best has gotten too cringy for me.
He is.
I used to like his older stuff, and then it's just too much, over glorification of bikini snaps.
Yeah, it's tropes. He's down to tropes now.
Yeah.
Do you know anything?
I'm lost.
Their YouTube. I want to say YouTube veterans.
He was ex-military. He used to be like a SEAL, and now he like promotes Black Rifle Coffee and then has guns all the time. And he made his own overglorified film with like all sorts of action shit over the top.
As a movie, Range 15, absolute horseshit. Garbage, terrible writing, non-sequential, bad. If you like their comedy and their material, great. Right? That's how it works. Works as a...
If you're already a fan and drinking the Kool-Aid, you're going to chug the fuck at it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's where I feel this movie, Bloodfest, kind of misses the mark.
Okay.
Because if you wanted to soak up all the Rooster Teeth fans, this isn't their style.
Right.
Like, you guys probably never saw 11 Little Roosters. That was theirs, where they have all their actors around, and then they get killed off. That was pretty good. That was enjoyable. It had no budget, but I enjoyed it. If you had done something like that with this, probably would have been a lot better.
I think it hit it. I don't know if it's necessarily being jaded. It's like when I first saw Daredevil and I really hated it and kind of skewed. And then I watched Elektra mistakenly, and it just made all the hero movies in my mind not so great. Now, I've seen a good amount of YouTube films, and all of them have been either okay or not so great. Maybe I've missed the good ones. But anytime I see another film coming out that's a YouTube film, I'm already expecting it not to be awesome.
Right.
And I wish I didn't feel that way because I wish I'd be able to get more excited about it. But I've been let down consistently. So, I mean, maybe there are a few gems out there I've missed. And I feel like this movie, had you not honestly brought it over for us to watch, I probably wouldn't have never watched it.
Yeah, never.
And so I'm waiting for the time where that turns around, where the writing and the making of the movie gets to that point where it restores my faith in YouTube movies.
So here's the problem, though. So
maybe my expectations are way too high.
Not even that. It's YouTube. How do I put this? So YouTube, at its core, is persona based, right?
Right.
So it's about who can keep your attention and who do you, as a person, want to keep coming back and watching. There are outliers to that, like people who do like more entertainment things, people do more informational things. But at the core of it, even if you look at like Brave Wilderness, there's a tons of people who do like wildlife stuff, but Coyote Peterson is interesting to watch, right?
Yeah.
Interesting people don't always make for skilled makers.
Yeah.
So this is the issue that I think YouTube has, is the only way that they can really make these movies is they hire outside sources that are like writers, directors, things like that, and then they team up with these creators. But then you have the clash of, it's not really what you watch the creator for, they're just in it. And this is kind of something that Netflix, I think, why they work is there's no like face of Netflix. There's no big Netflixers. They are just solidly a way to get media. So when they make media, you're not in there expecting it to be this way or that way. And they started out not so great with some of their stuff, but over time they've built it up. I don't think YouTube will be able to do that as long as YouTube in the current form is going to keep going that route.
Because those creators aren't actors and therefore it can't do acting.
And Barb does okay in this.
Yeah.
Like she's not, I don't know if she's an actress other than like Rooster Teeth stuff. Like there was a couple lines and when she was crying I was just like, yeah, but then there's other ones where like, yeah, she's playing her character. I think she did better than some of the other people in this movie. I don't know. I just don't think YouTube will ever put out something that is like the equivalent of, yes, this is great and it is a YouTube product. So I never watch any of the YouTube original stuff unless it's like more of the game or informational type things. It's when they make their original series, I'm just like, either it's not very YouTube or it's too YouTube. Like there's not a good middle place for it.
Like I'll watch Minefield, but that's only because it's more informational. But like Matt Pat, when he came out with his like game theory test type stuff where like, can you actually stealth?
It's informational, yeah.
I mean, I thought it was okay, but I also thought it was a bit cringy.
A little bit, because he's in it.
The part is he's talking to a military vet about Solid Snake, who probably doesn't know a damn thing about it. He's like, sure.
Yeah, he makes all those references that they just... Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if that day will ever come, honestly. And if it does eventually come, I don't think YouTube will be in its current state.
I'm kind of surprised Film Riot hasn't come out with more stuff recently because their channel is mostly based on a lot of that, and they probably have some decent people who know how to act. If not act, the camera work can make up for the.
So
the
they still do make short films, and I mean they make shorts all the time for their video, but it's that difficult thing of like getting funding. Even when you're as big as Film Right, like to get even $1 million like this movie had, that would be hard to do.
They did it in 2 weeks. Well, I guess they wrote it.
They wrote it in 2 weeks.
Anyway,
there's some blocking that's real bullshit in this movie.
What's that?
The blocking. If like people are in the background, they just turn kind of face camera like it's a play almost.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do. Just turn. Look to the side.
All right.
Let's go. We gotta hurry up.
let me talk mysteriously to know where there's probably a wall right here, but I'd like to speak my.
It's another big indicator of knowledge versus talent. Like they clearly know how to make a movie, but they're missing that intangible that like people who are really good have, where they can like. You have to almost be psychotic, like to notice small things in every single shot and be like so on top of every single thing to get rid of continuity errors or to, like I said, worry about blocking. Like,
so we have you for, Mr. Editor.
No, it's because you can't edit those things out. If someone's looking around, you can't just work around it.
They did mention, and this probably goes back to not having a lot of time on the DVD commentary. Dunkelman was talking about how, we start a scene, kind of let it flow, go around, and then we'd find places. Towards the end, though, it was just stand there, act. Like, no time.
And just running out.
It was all in one room,
Yeah, mostly.
You know how we say it's a movie for its time? This was a movie without any time.
Hey.
I don't know. It makes sense. Like I said, though, it's hard to just go too hard on it, if that makes sense.
I feel like the big thing with making movies, too, and I could be wrong, the longer you take to plan and make things better, the more expensive it becomes, I assume.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Time is money.
Where talent and natural ability. I'm not trying to shit on the movie. I'm not trying to be awful. I know I'm coming off like that, but I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't forgive it. You're making mistakes that you should know better, even if the director didn't. Then people involved should be able to say, "No, don't do that. That was bad."
That's the problem, though. Not everyone has the power to say that. They can voice their opinion, but it doesn't mean it'll.
There could be the people who fit the bill have the final say.
And one thing I will definitely say is I feel like a lot of. I guess you would probably be better able to explain this since you listen to the commentary, but I would imagine that the people involved in this had a lot of fun making this movie. Oh, yeah. Like just the effects and like being like getting to be killed on a screen would always be fun to me. Same issue that I have with Adam Sandler movies where he's just making movies so he can hang out with his friends. I can't be mad at him for that because if I could do that, I would too.
Oh, I can. Yeah. Movies suck.
They're not
you
great.
You can have as much fun as you want, but the product's bad.
Yeah, but I like if someone was giving me millions of dollars.
With $1 million, like, okay.
Oh, no, I do it. I do it too. Absolutely. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
That's why I can't be super mad at him. I can just
self-awareness, though, it goes a long way.
He knows. He's straight up said, like, I just wanted to go here. I wanted to go there, so we made a movie.
And that I can respect that. I can respect the honesty of that.
So
I just wanted to vacation in Maui for a couple weeks. So
and I do also applaud Rooster Teeth for trying to grow because like it was probably scary to try and be like, hey, we're gonna try and make this movie with these people. It's a big money and risk investment, and they don't always work out properly. But if you don't ever do it, then you stagnate, and then like the internet game is all about how can we get more and do something else and keep things fresh, which I think Rooster Teeth in general is pretty good at, and especially Funhouse. They're always trying new stuff.
I want to say they were going to make it into a so many part series. I want to say if I could find.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that on the commentary.
And instead of all one movie, it was going to be like a so many part series, which I was like, maybe it would have done great, but maybe not, just because of the time lapse between the two.
Yeah,
it works much better as a movie, because that's like I said, it gets over quick. It doesn't linger. It's nice. It's quick. This would be a good movie to like have just on in the background, because then you can look over and be like, oh, that guy got chainsawed now.
Oh yeah, that one scene.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Okay, on the next one.
Yeah.
You know what the absolute worst part of this movie was? The Zachary Levi cameo. That was the worst fucking thing. Because very obvious, they didn't actually have him. that long.
Mm-hmm.
He was there for however much they could pay him for.
He very clearly is like, I have key.
Look, key. Without this key right here, we cannot go anywhere. Oh, I'm dead. You're Flynn Rider. And then this bullcrap rule of 3. I'm going to interrupt you 3 times with pointless nonsense. It wasn't funny, and it made me hate Barbara Dunkelman.
Yeah, and it's so like it's extremely out of like character. Like it's not out of character, but out of reality.
That's what makes me feel like this is now a YouTube movie because, hey, look, we got a cameo budget.
Yeah.
We got him for 1 minute. Make it count.
You know,
And then doing my lines. Okay, I'm gone now.
You know who did a better job of getting Zachary Levi to do cameo on the internet? Video Game High School.
I don't remember him being in that.
He was the FPS teacher, I think, wasn't he?
I didn't watch season 3.
In the first season, even.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he's the FPS guy, like teaching the class. Anyways, I was also bummed out by that because I like Zachary Levi.
I had no clue who the fuck he was.
It's Chuck. You ever see Chuck?
I saw part of Chuck.
Y'all ever seen?
Is that Intersect?
Yeah, he's the one. He's the main guy.
Okay.
He's the one that's got
That's why
it
he
in
looks
his head.
vaguely familiar.
I've always liked him in things he shows up in. I did not know he was entangled. That was interesting to find out.
You're Flynn fucking Rider.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Zachary
One
Levi,
would have
by the
been
way.
good, right? Didn't need to be 3, and it didn't need to be her talking about how she gets moist at the idea of a Pixar character.
The biggest problem was that it was telegraphed and that you knew it was coming, so you just had to wait and then cringe. Okay, we're done now.
I expected him to, I guess, to have a bigger deal because they specifically put in the intro credits Zachary Levi, and I was like,
karaoke.
I was like, that's pretty cool. I guess not the credits, but the commercial for it. I was like, oh, cool, Zachary Levi's gonna be there, and I should have known it's gonna be one of those, but I don't know.
But yeah, he was the FPS teacher. By the way, I really liked Video Game High School.
It was good.
It was campy and cringy all the same, but they did it well, I feel like.
Also, high school has 4 years. Why do we only get 3 seasons?
Season 1 was good. Season 2 was acceptable. I never watched season 3 because I lost interest.
It's all right.
I joined their Kickstarter and got a shirt and a really tiny poster.
I don't think I ever saw you wear it either.
Nope, because it was too small.
Womp
Their
womp.
sizes ran small.
You got anything left in your notes?
Rip off your neck and shit in your mouth. Fuck you and fuck your dead mom.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was a good line. Okay, can we talk? We can talk about her, right?
I
thought
her.
she did good. She did good, right? She was probably the best person.
Best. Yeah, definitely.
She seemed likable. She had a really good voice. Like, I don't know. She seemed likable. Main guy I didn't care too much for. Spider-Man's friend I thought was okay. He was kind of the same. Now that you mention it, I think
He's
he
just
is
the same
him.
thing everywhere. It's just his personality. He's there to be the fat man.
The director, I'm torn on, because he definitely went for it.
He was having fun with it, at least.
That's what I was thinking. Like
he
that
was
guy,
enjoying himself.
Yeah, I that's what I thought. Everyone else was just okay. I thought Barb did better than I thought she was going to. I didn't realize she was going to be like a main cast person.
I think she
had
could
her
have
ups
done
and
better
downs
with maybe a better director, better writing.
It's probably the director. If you said she does better in their own home produced things, it's probably a director deal.
Yeah.
Not knowing how to work with her or get the best out of her.
I didn't care much for the dad.
Yeah, no.
Tate Donovan.
Just kept pulling a gun out.
I don't know who that is.
Time.
You keep saying
I
Tate
don't
Donovan.
know how many times
I
he was
looked up
doing
his
this.
name.
Okay.
I'm like, the guy looks familiar. I've seen him in stuff, but
He always just had a gun ready to go,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is just a little weird.
Oh,
Well,
I
he's
like
a
the
therapist.
editor also did a good job because he was just like, "What? Huh?"
I can't look at him and not see Hank Green.
Once you said it, I saw it too.
I'm like, I just can't. No, I just see
You gotta
it.
shave the goatee off. And there
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. Yep.
I really liked the pulse effect when they started going crazy, and then Black Vial started spewing out.
Where's that come from though? Like, I don't think we have black vial in us.
I
do
don't
we?
know.
No.
That's what it seemed kind of original. Maybe that's why I liked it so
Possibly.
much.
The thought was cool, especially
If
when they tied that back to him.
If that had been like the premise of the movie, like throughout the night, people are going to start going crazy, and that's
And I think they should have trickled in more of the reasoning behind things, because like one of my notes in here was like, how do you get that many people to kill people? They waited until the end to be like, and most of them were my psychiatric patients, because like the director guy goes on his little thing like, once you make someone watch a movie a million times, they become that movie. That's not how that works, I don't think. I've seen Lord of the Rings a million times, and I don't go around with a sword.
I mean,
Take the ring to Mordor.
Yeah. I don't know. That was one of those ones where, like, it seemed like they were trying too hard to explain why it's happening. If they had just, I guess they wanted the big reveal that it was the dad. But if they had brought him in way sooner and then, like, halfway through been like, yeah, these are old patients of mine, and then,
I didn't
like,
realize he worked at an asylum. I thought he worked out of his
I thought he was
office.
a psychiatric doctor, not
He was.
like a therapist, not like an
Yeah.
asylum therapist, though.
yeah.
I wonder if they were
Psychiatric.
just confusing those and if they had gone over the script one more time.
I don't know.
It feels very segmented.
I thought his dad was a horror writer at first, honestly, because of the books they were showing.
Yeah. If they had gone through... It felt very segmented.
Yeah.
Like, here's the clown area. Here's the zombie area.
I like that, honestly.
But you don't really see them transitioning from area to area. It just feels like these are separated
Yeah, you do.
zones.
You kind of do.
Like when they go to the torture
Graveyard
area.
to the Evil Dead house, and then you see the school to the
torture land,
torture
which is in
land.
the basement.
which then they go up into the clown zone. But they also keep bringing back over and over, like, specifically saying this is where we have to go to do this, this, and this, whereas they've already told us multiple times.
Right.
And that's another thing that I have a problem with, where I keep rewriting it in there to emphasize it. I'm like, I need to trust that the audience can remember.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out of
is that
notes.
it? Are we
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. Let's hit the big finale.
favorite scene.
Perfect ending.
Oh, first of all, you start with what the fuck moment. Jeez, it's only the 41st? Second episode.
7th?
I should have remembered 42. It's the answer to everything.
Agent?
All at once?
Yeah. No, that's 37 in a row. What was your what the fuck moment?
Just this movie.
Whole thing? I was
Just
waiting
this
for
whole
it.
thing. I don't have the effort or the energy to actually
To pick
figure
one.
out. There's no real like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. It's just
Not one moment just really right in there with you.
not really, because if I did like it, it's always tainted by the movie as a whole.
I don't know if we properly explained this to you or not, but what the fuck does not have to be positive. It can be a very negative moment, which mine will be negative.
You go. I'll see if I can't
Do you got one?
try to
Yeah, the way
save something.
the kid version of him looks at his mom in the very beginning.
The little Oedipus.
It's like there's a way to look at your mom like, yeah, you're my mom. Yeah, I love you. But this it looks at him a little too longingly. That just kind of creeps me out.
Maybe
and
he's
I
getting to
wasn't
that age
okay
now.
with. And I'm just like, I get it. You're having a moment with your mom watching a horror movie. But he's just like,
Also, why did he wake up from a nightmare about that and then start smiling? That was weird, right? Like he was like,
I'm surrounded by horror stuff.
yeah.
Also, why is his dad so upset about him going to Horror Fest and yet allows his room to be completely covered in horror?
Yeah, you think he would
paraphernalia?
abandon it in the
question
home.
it. Don't
Yeah.
question it. It's okay.
I'm allowed to.
No,
I am
you're
a
not.
viewer.
Mm-mm.
Nah, you're getting it.
You're being
Anyway.
so cynical.
My what the fuck moment was when the dad was behind it.
Oh,
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Really? Come on.
God damn.
See, so here's what I was hoping was going to happen. Against hope. At this point, I was like, it's fucking the dad. But
Literally.
the way that the director was dressed and the way he had the cane and how he was carrying himself, and he's like, they mention a higher power. Would have loved Vince McMahon coming out. It was me, Austin. There's two of them. But no, the stained glass window behind him has the devil on it. I was like, that would be a cool twist. If that would have been more like fitting in line with the ridiculousness of the movie. It's like, oh yeah, the devil's behind it, and then poof, here's the devil, or he himself is the devil, something like that. But I don't know, when it was just the dad, I was like, what the fuck? Come on.
That would have been a good turn.
Yeah, it was like they tried to be like, oh, an emotional moment. It's like, I don't want an emotional moment. I want to see the devil. Let me see the devil.
The Scar movie would be scary.
That would explain a lot of things to me. Like, that's how you made stuff happen. The devil got powers. Once you get magic in it, anything can be explained. Once you have
Do
magic.
whatever the fuck you want.
You don't have to explain it. It's magic.
Exactly. It's fucking magic.
Magic.
What was your favorite scene? I gotta hear this.
I'm gonna say, like the black vial
Okay.
when he's
What-
like, I think I love blah. Okay, that one I actually like. I really like that effect just the way they looked, the black vial pouring out of their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily like when they lingered on it, because there are times when she's like, what do I do with my hands?
Mm-hmm.
And then...
And I think you're right about that being a really good idea. That should have been, I think you're right, that should have been the crux of it, because that was the director's original thought. Like, if that had been going on the whole time, like, that would have been a really interesting twist.
People slowly going insane at a horror festival. Is it real? Is it not real? People are dying because Red's killing them. Oh, wow, look at them chop those fake bodies up. That's really cool. That's Krill.
They could have even, at that point, if they were letting the dad, like, be revealed, they could have even shown him in the asylum, like, working on it and making it a thing. I don't know. But he also seemed like, unfortunately, it didn't work. What was your favorite scene?
The way the kid looks at the mom in the beginning. Kidding.
Oedipus complex.
No, so my favorite scene was during that beginning part where he's like, this is a real thing, and then they just start chainsawing people. It's like, oh, damn. I mean, I thought they were just going to be like, rah, and they all going to run away. But no, they went into it and just decided, let's hack up a bunch of bodies. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like, that. It's like, neat. All right. I went there.
I definitely like that, but that's the money shot right there.
Exactly.
After that, it's all downhill. There's nothing left.
Gotta let that money shot.
Yeah.
Before we do yours, can I just mention, there's a quote on the box that says, the party horror film of the year. That is not what that quote is intending.
No.
By Dread Central.
The full quote is, if you can forgive the mistakes or ignore them, if played correctly, this film could be the party horror party movie film of the year. I'm like, motherfuckers, that is a misquote.
Shady. That's shady. Ugh. My favorite scene was the Elise cameo.
I didn't realize that was her.
Is it not? You said it was her and it looked like her, so I assumed it was. Okay.
They say it is on the commentary.
She is the selfie attendee.
I was say you had me second guessing there for a second. I was like, I swear it was her.
I'll give you a what the fuck moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so when the dad's like, he's filmed everything, and for some reason the director is holding his cell phone.
Well, he's doing his big, like, it was me moment, right?
Yeah, he's doing that because the real director, the actual Owen Egerton, wanted to film his own death on stage. So he's holding a goddamn cell phone for no reason.
I assumed he was trying to cover his ass so he could be like, nah, this guy was behind
That's
it all.
what I thought too. Like, he's been filming himself doing everything. Actually, I'm filming you. I'm live streaming you right now, confessing. So you're the murderer.
But also, he would have indicted him. He would have implicated himself in that as well.
I don't think
one of those
he
I
cared.
words. Yeah, no.
He was ready to go out. Yeah. They plant explosives to blow up the entire place, including the tower that they're in right now.
With all the footage.
All the footage. See, when you start in a good movie, it can have problems that you don't notice or don't care about.
Suspension of disbelief is important.
Right. In a bad movie, I start thinking because I have nothing else to do. Well, you were going to blow yourself up inside the base. Why? You're like, screw it. I'm going to blow the place up while I'm still inside with my daughter.
Maybe.
Because to me, the horror film to end all horror films.
But the dad wasn't trying to make it, though.
Yeah, no,
I'm now questioning the logic
Yeah.
And the motives.
Don't question it.
I know, and that's why I hate it.
Yeah. Well, he had clearly lost his mind. His marbles were not there.
Gone.
Who's your MVP?
Don't have one at the moment.
Oh, that's not good. Who's your MVP?
I really wanted to say Barb, but it's Sam. The actress that played
Laura Croft girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah. She got the hair, you know. Yeah. She was in contention for my MVP as well. Because the whole movie, she's just seems like the best person there. And she's even the driving force. I was kind of happy that she ended up not dying at the end. Spoilers.
As if we ever need to do that for any of our films.
Gotta die in the sequel.
Or stuff.
For real. Pharrell Williams. And I also considered Elise because perfect cameo, right? Just the funniest fucking person. But I went with, and this might be controversial in your mind, but I went with Dax's friend whose name I don't remember, but it's weird.
Krill,
yes.
Krillin?
Yeah, Krillin. I went for Krillin just because I like that kid. He's funny. And also, he makes me think of Spider-Man, which I'm always down
Take his
for.
hat off and he ages 15 years.
That was weird. Not gonna lie, he did immediately look like a 30-year-old man.
I'll throw you mine real quick.
I think I'm gonna change it to Sam though,
You know what I thought I was
she
gonna love?
objectively, I did like her better.
I thought I would love to see Blaine Gibson get his cock bitten off, but I didn't because that stupid face he makes, it ruins it.
This is just like, I can't say the name of the person that I also have this feeling towards. He's not famous, but I don't want to say his name on the podcast, but I know exactly how you feel about that man.
I just have an irrational hatred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
can't
nothing you can do
explain
about it. Nothing. And you can't really pinpoint it either. It's just like you see it, and then that's your guy. That's the one you hate. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I might, maybe, possibly.
What were you gonna say?
My MVP is the effects guy. There's a lot of effort put into that. There's a lot of extra blood having to be stirred up, having to be put in. Hey, put this in your mouth, spit it out. Bleh. Hey, let's put on some of that effects makeup for the extra stuff, just to go kind of above and beyond. And I mean, to go on the set and then dress it up for a scene that may have not taken all that super long, but then there's that.
There's a lot of
there's
work that
team.
goes in. Is involved into it. Yeah.
Especially if they had to do multiple takes involving blood. Fuck that.
I think I've only messed with blood once during our little filming stuff, and that
There's a
stuff
reason.
was sticky.
Yep, that's hard to clean up and it leaves stains.
Yeah.
So slow and sticky. Oh, positive things. Positive things. I did like the pig butchers. I wish they were more involved. Like those were a neat concept. I really like the stab at Halloween. Yeah, what about that alien mark that says that you're from outer space? No, that was only in part 5. Part 6, we act like it didn't happen. I'm like,
That's a lot of slasher movies, to be fair, though.
yeah, that's something that kind of upsets me about horror fans.
Yeah.
They like to pick and choose.
Yeah, it's just like the
what they
Bible.
accept. Yeah.
Is that like all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
Yep.
People don't want to mention the one that's just big old...
The gay one.
The gay one.
Yeah. Nightmare 2.
Oh yeah, that's some real undertones to that.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite ones, and now that I know it, I'm just like, fuck. Jesus.
Is it a Schumacher film?
I don't think it's a Schumacher film, but that's another one of those ones where it's like, oh wow, how did I not notice that? Fuck. It's like this. The symbolism was not really thin, you know what I'm saying?
Subtle.
Dude, throwing balls at this kid.
Didn't the gym teacher pick him up in a gay bar
Yeah.
and then took him back to the high school?
Yes, and then that's where he throws the balls at him, and he whips him with the towel, like goes on his bare ass and shit. And I was like, man,
Doesn't he make him?
Once you
him
see
run?
it, you can't unsee it.
Was that the whole point of that scene, though? Right?
Huh?
I don't know it as well as you do.
That was the whole point. Like the kid go. I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
I mean, that is. I watch it every night, but.
Hey.
No, whatever. We'll talk about that later.
Oh,
No
ooh,
point.
we did it.
No point.
We did it. We got through Bloodfest, and we didn't change movies halfway through.
I offered you the chance because I watched it and
That's okay.
I knew this was not going to be good,
It's committal.
and I said we'll watch part of it.
We're gonna
and then
watch
we'll
worse
vote.
movies.
We've watched worse movies, even.
Just saying, I offered the chance.
Video game movies was pretty painful to go through.
Yeah, Blood
Rain.
Blood
sorry.
Rain will always probably be the worst movie we've ever seen.
Sorry.
And I've watched more disappointing movies too.
Shout out to that one actor who got to brush his hand against a tit in this movie. As the girl turns, he's just like, "That's your titty." And better just move that hand down.
Seemed unnecessary too. Like, why are they showing titties? Like,
Because they're vampires.
Maybe that's my what the fuck
impressed
moment. Just random tits
yeah, I mean, it makes sense
that
in
are
a horror movie that you
vaguely
have them.
seen,
Yeah,
but
it was
not
weird.
really.
But it's got to be in a horror movie though.
It also seemed I felt uncomfortable seeing Blaine with titties. Like, it just seemed weird.
I'm Blaine, yeah.
Less that, and more just like you're on set with a bunch of people you work with all the time. It's like, oh hey, I gotta
Better hide my erection.
weird. I don't know, but we made
I'm
it.
sure
We
she
made it
got
through.
a good paycheck at the end of it all.
Plus, we also said I think on camera last time that we would be watching this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like the whole idea of this podcast is to not scare it away from bad things. Sometimes we have to watch bad things so we can appreciate
Learn.
the good things.
You
Yeah.
can learn from it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to another bad thing.
Yeah. 100%. What do we
You were
even
eager for
classify this
one.
as?
You were eager for this one.
This next one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about Blood, whatever we just watched, Bloodfest.
No.
What's
Which
the
we
next
did
one?
decide hated Bloodfest, liked Bloodfest, med on Bloodfest, like in the middle. So the next one everyone's going to love, and that's going to be a hard rip on Bloodfest because we're going straight into fucking no holds barred.
Isn't that what fit perfectly? Because WrestleMania is in April.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there we
Is
go.
That's 3.
Is that the one with Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, and his name's Rip for some reason.
What's that smell?
Yes, I've been waiting for this for like 2 years apparently.
Oh
Boy, yeah, brother.
Yes, it was either that or we were gonna watch Mr. Nanny just for the scene where he chucks the dog in the ocean.
You know what we're talking about, right?
I know I've seen Mr. Nanny. I might be confusing it with Suburban Commando.
Also a solid choice. Let's just watch them all. Let's just do all.
That one also
driving-
has Taker in it.
It does,
So-
and he's
so
so
Hulk's
young and so weird.
Driving his motorcycle down the street, and in the background, there's a man standing on the beach, just chucks his dog
Yes, yeah, I've seen
into
that.
the ocean.
So on that note of pet cruelty,
Ugh.
this has been Dudes Watch a Movie podcast.
Thanks for watching.
I should let Lance do the outro since he crushed the intro.